My friend, I want to tell you something straight from the heart of heaven today. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. And you are certainly not unloved. God is working behind the scenes, even when you don't see it. He is leading you step by step towards someone who already carries your name in their prayers, someone who has already been chosen to walk with you in this life, a person who already loves you. In this life, many people believe that love is found through trial and error, through a series of random meetings, lucky coincidences, or emotional impulses. But when it comes to the plans of God, there is no such thing as chance. What may feel like a delay, a detour, or even a disappointment is often the very path He uses to guide you to a divine connection. You are not walking alone, nor are your steps unobserved. Heaven has been orchestrating something far greater than you can comprehend. God is not in the business of confusion. He is in the business of calling. And when He calls two hearts to unite, it is never accidental. Before time began, God knew every detail of your story. He knew your rising and your falling, your tears and your triumphs. He saw every moment of heartbreak, every season of loneliness, every late-night prayer whispered in faith. He saw the mistakes you would make, the lessons you would learn, and the growth that would come through your surrender. And in the midst of all that, He also saw someone else, someone with a heart shaped by trials of their own, someone molded through pain and perseverance, someone who would one day walk into your life not as a stranger but as a gift from the throne room of God. God is not sending you someone who simply fills a void. He is leading you to someone who understands the value of covenant, someone who knows the weight of prayer, someone who has been walking their own wilderness, not knowing that their journey has been aligning step by step with yours. And when you meet them, there will be more than just chemistry. There will be clarity. Not a feeling, but a confirmation. You won't have to force it. You won't have to fake it. You won't have to convince them to stay. Because when God writes the story, both hearts recognize the author. We often rush love because we fear being left behind. We fear that if we don't take control, we might miss our moment. But the truth is, you cannot miss what God has written. You cannot lose what heaven has appointed. And you don't have to manipulate anything that is divine. God's timing isn't just perfect, it's purposeful. Every moment of delay has a reason. Every closed door is mercy. Every unanswered prayer is protection. What feels like loneliness may actually be preparation, because God doesn't just prepare the blessing for you. He prepares you for the blessing. Imagine two travelers walking different roads, both asking God for direction. One doesn't see the other, yet both are being led by the same voice. Both are learning to trust, to wait, to obey. Both are growing in their character and surrender. And one day those two paths meet, not because of luck, not because of desperation, but because the shepherd guided them together. That's what divine connection looks like. It's not rushed, it's not born out of panic, and it certainly isn't based on emotional highs. It's rooted in trust, it's wrapped in peace, and it's revealed through obedience. There are moments in your life when you will wonder if God has forgotten your desire for love. There will be days when the silence feels unbearable, when everyone else seems to be finding their person and you're left waiting. But the waiting is not a punishment. It's a wound. God is birthing something sacred in your life. He is making sure that when the right person comes, you won't just recognize them, you'll be ready to receive them. Because love is not just about finding the right person. It's about becoming the person who can steward that love with honor, purity, and wisdom. You may not see how the story is unfolding, but God sees the end from the beginning. He knows exactly who needs to be in your life and when. He knows who will strengthen your faith, who will protect your heart, who will partner with your purpose. And so he waits until your character is strong enough to sustain what he is sending. He waits until your identity is anchored in him, not in the validation of another. He waits until you stop chasing people and start chasing him. Because when your eyes are on Jesus, your heart becomes aligned with his desires. The person God is leading you to is not just another name or face. They are someone he has been preparing with just as much care as he's been preparing you. They may be walking through their own fire, facing their own battles, growing in their own relationship with God. And one day, in his perfect timing, your paths will cross, not to complete each other, but to complement each other in Christ. You won't come together to fix each other's brokenness, but to reflect God's fullness in your union. This is why the world's version of love often leaves us empty. It's focused on convenience, not covenant. But God's love story is about mission, not just emotion. He's aligning your future marriage with heaven's blueprint, not culture's opinion. And when it happens, it will glorify him. It will lift your faith. It will shine as a testimony to others who are still waiting, still wondering, still praying. That's why you must keep walking in obedience, keep seeking the Lord, keep trusting that what he has promised he will fulfill. Even now, he's arranging the steps. You don't need to know all the details, you just need to know the one who does. He's not late, he's not silent, he's strategic. And he is leading you to someone who may not know your name yet, but who already loves your spirit. Because love that begins with God always leads back to him. And when two people are drawn by his voice, there's no distance too great, no time too long, no past too broken that can stop what he has destined. There is something deeply powerful about the unseen prayers that go before you. While you may not know who they are yet, while their name may not yet be spoken in your conversations, someone out there is already lifting your life before the throne of God. They may not know the details of your story, but they are praying for your peace. They may not have heard your voice, but they are interceding for your protection. This is not a fairy tale. It is the quiet work of God preparing hearts before they ever collide. We live in a world where love is often defined by visibility. If it's not posted, if it's not proven publicly, it's not considered real. But real love begins in the spirit. It's born in silence, nurtured in prayer, and shaped in surrender. And the one God is leading you toward is not someone who will fall for you at first sight. They will fall for you in faith long before they meet you face to face. They are already asking God to make them ready for the assignment of loving you well. They are praying for the strength to support you, the wisdom to understand you, and the grace to walk beside you with honor. When you're alone, it's easy to believe that no one is thinking of you, that no one is preparing for you, that you're forgotten, overlooked, or simply not meant for this kind of love. But God is always working in the unseen places. He sees the desires of your heart, and he knows what it takes to meet them in the right way. That's why he begins the process in prayer. Because a person who prays for you before they know you is someone who will continue praying when the seasons change, when the storms rise, when life tests the bond you've built. This kind of person doesn't just want you, they want to be right with God before they get to you. That's the difference between worldly pursuit and divine preparation. They aren't just praying for a wedding, they're praying for a marriage. They aren't praying for someone to entertain them, they're praying for someone to edify them. And when they pray, they're not asking God to give them someone perfect. They're asking him to make them the kind of person who can serve, protect, and uplift the one they are called to love. You may not realize how precious it is that someone would cover you in prayer without even knowing your story. It means they trust the heart of God more than their own understanding. It means they believe in the timing of God more than their own schedule. They're not desperate. They're not impatient. They are waiting, not passively, but actively. They're growing in the Word. They're surrendering their habits. They're learning to lead themselves, so that when you arrive, they can lead with integrity and maturity. Sometimes God will keep you hidden until the right person begins to pray in alignment with His will. You're not being delayed, you're being preserved. You're not being punished, you're being positioned, because the person who finds you in prayer will value you beyond appearance. They will value your soul. They will honor your scars. They will celebrate your calling. And their love won't be built on flattery or fleeting passion. It will be built on reverence for God and the covenant He creates. There are people who pray when things fall apart, but the one God is preparing for you is someone who prays before anything begins. That kind of person is not led by emotions. They are led by discernment. They don't want to force anything. They want God to confirm everything. And that's the kind of love that can endure, because it doesn't start with flesh. It starts with faith. When your heart is anchored in God and their heart is too, He becomes the common ground you both stand on when everything else shifts. You might be wondering, how can someone pray for me if they don't even know who I am? But they don't need to know your name. They're praying for your peace, your purpose, your purity. They're asking God to heal you from past wounds, to strengthen your trust, to prepare your heart for a love that glorifies Him. And when you finally meet, you will realize that your spirits were already familiar. Not because of attraction, but because of intercession. This is the beauty of divine love. It is not just romantic, it's redemptive. It draws you closer to God, not away from Him. It teaches you to pray with your partner, not just play with their emotions. It builds your house on the rock, not on shifting sand. And when you find someone who's been praying for you before they knew you, you'll know you found someone who will stand by you when life is not easy, when feelings fade, when faith is the only thing holding you both together. Do not lose heart in your season of waiting. Do not think your prayers are one-sided. Somewhere out there, God is working on the heart of someone who is already carrying your future in prayer. They may feel unsure, just like you. They may have questions, just like you. But they're still trusting, still believing, still asking God to write a love story that doesn't just make them happy, but makes them holy. And so, while you wait, pray. Don't just pray for love. Pray to become love. Ask God to make you strong enough to receive what you're asking for. Ask Him to heal what still hurts, to cleanse what still clings to your past. Because as you pray, you're not just talking to God, you're aligning with the one who's praying for you too. And that bond, that spiritual covering, is stronger than anything this world can imitate or promise. When your prayers finally meet, so will your hearts, and you'll see that God had you both in mind all along. There are seasons in life when it feels like everything is on hold, like you're standing still while the world moves around you. You see others finding love, starting families, building futures together, and yet your heart remains in waiting. It can feel confusing, frustrating, and even painful. But one of the greatest truths that must be anchored in your spirit is this: delay does not mean denial. When God presses pause, it is never without purpose. His delays are not to harm you, but to prepare you for love, for commitment, for destiny, for someone whose presence in your life will carry the weight of eternity. Many people rush into relationships because they fear being alone, but God sees what's ahead, and He knows what's needed to sustain the kind of union He's planning for you. He doesn't want to just give you a spouse. He wants to bless you with a partner who will carry the fire of purpose beside you. That kind of connection takes preparation, and preparation takes time. What feels like a closed door may be God's mercy protecting you from what your heart wants, but your character isn't ready to handle. Or maybe you are ready, but the one He's preparing for you is still in the refining fire. You don't want someone who just shows up. You want someone who's been shaped by obedience, molded by trials, and matured in the secret place with God. There are no shortcuts to divine alignment. You can't fast track what God is slow cooking. The kind of love He offers isn't built on impulse. It's forged in fire, tested in silence, and strengthened through surrender. Every lonely night, every tear-stained pillow, every unanswered prayer, they are not wasted moments.